I'm Tracy Baxter with today's Record Newswatch. The call came in shortly before noon today of a bank robbery at the Roundout Savings Bank in Uptown Kingston. Police converged on the area, along with canines and a police helicopter. Officials on scene say the robber ran out of the bank on Schwenk Drive with an undisclosed amount of cash.
We're looking for a black male with a ball cap, possibly black ball cap, white button-down shirt, about 5'11" to 6'1", had some sort of cloth mask blocking his face, and glasses on and black pants. Medium complexion black male, and that's all we have right now.
There were no injuries and no initial word on whether any weapon was displayed during the bank robbery. Keep clicking here at Record Online for updated information on the robbery earlier today in Uptown Kingston. A 19-year-old Port Ewan man was sentenced to 15 years in prison today for causing the death of a 5-week-old child last year. Kevideus Taylor had pleaded guilty to manslaughter in connection with the death of little Seth Knox Jr. of Kingston. Taylor admitted to hitting the baby's head against a wall because he was frustrated that the baby would not stop crying. Taylor, described as a family friend, had brought the child to the Albany area to be with the baby's father. The infant died at Albany Medical Center of massive head injuries. A former member of the Ellenville First Aid and Rescue Squad has pleaded guilty to burglarizing homes after responding to medical emergencies at the residences. 48-year-old German Lobatin, a former resident of Spring Glen, pled guilty to burglary in the second degree, a felony, according to the Ulster County DA's office. Lobatin, a member of the First Aid Squad, responded to medical emergencies at various homes in the town of Wawarsing. Shortly after responding, and while such homes were unoccupied, he entered them and stole personal property, most of which was eventually recovered by police. Lobatin is scheduled to be sentenced October 1st to 13 years in prison. A crisis is brewing in the Napanoch area where objections are being raised to a state DEC plan to lower the water level of Honk Lake in order to pave the way for the future demolition of the dilapidated Honk Lake Dam. State has long labeled the dam off Route 55 highly hazardous and a threat to downstream properties and bridges should it fail. But this week the Wawarsing Town Board passed a resolution opposing the planned water level drop, saying more studies need to be done to determine the potential impact on fish life and private water wells. Wawarsing Town Supervisor Leonard Distel said Honk Lake is widely used for recreational purposes and that the dam gives local residents a chance to play in their own backyard without spending money on travel. It's official. Residents in the village of Bloomingburg will vote September 30th in a referendum that, if passed, would dissolve the village of approximately 400 residents and place it under the jurisdiction of the town of Mamakating and its tighter zoning restrictions. The village board set the referendum date last night. Those favoring dissolution say it will free residents of the fear that they'd be overwhelmed by the voters who will reside in the 396-home Hasidic development being built in the village. Bloomingburg officials will explain the dissolution process during a meeting August 5th. Their mission to keep children safe, and now some teenage girls who've arrived from Central America being sheltered at the Children's Home of Poughkeepsie, bringing the crisis of unaccompanied children here to the Hudson Valley. The girls, mostly in grades 11 and 12, have been seeking refuge from the violence in their home countries of El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. Children's Home has been given permission to expand its assistance program to the St. Cabrini home in the town of Esopus. According to the U.S. Office of Refugee Resettlement, about 60,000 unaccompanied minors will be served by its programs this year. And with shelters near the border at capacity, children are being sent to other parts of the country, including here. Reporter Pauline Liu has the complete story of the crisis and this local connection at Record Online and in the Friday edition of the Times-Herald Record. Elsewhere, City of Middletown police have arrested 3 people for an early morning robbery. Happened in the area of South and Genung Streets, and according to police, the 3 men robbed a Middletown man of cash and marijuana while armed with what they described as a simulated handgun. The suspects were identified as 24-year-old Larry Gordon of the town of Wallkill, 23-year-old Taj Miner of Middletown, and 24-year-old Pedro Stroud of Middletown. All three were charged with felony first-degree robbery. A driver faces a host of charges after ramming into an ambulance in Saugerties. Police say 26-year-old Matteo Zegarelli of Mahopac ran a stop sign in the village and broadsided a Diaz Company ambulance, nearly rolling it over. The ambulance was not on an emergency run. There was no patient on board, and the two paramedics in the vehicle were not seriously hurt. The ambulance did sustain major damage and had to be taken out of service. Among the charges Zegarelli faces: reckless driving, operating an uninsured and unregistered motor vehicle, and operating a motor vehicle without license plates. In Monticello, work's expected to start in the next couple of weeks on the removal of the debris that was left following the demolition of the Village Justice Court building last October. Village Board this week accepted a bid of just under $87,000 from contractor Specialty Trades to remove the rubble from the Pleasant Street site and for the cleanup of a site at Fairground Road where some of the material was illegally dumped. The state and the Sullivan County District Attorney's Office continue to investigate the circumstances surrounding that illegal dumping. Some revisions will reportedly be made to the plans for a whitewater park on the Delaware in Port Jervis in order to accommodate the discovery of a freshwater variety of mussel that's on the endangered species list. The updated plan reduces a 200 to 300 foot upper section of the whitewater park to protect the mussel beds. Port Jervis Common Council recently okayed money for the permitting process. That includes an expected state grant, and it could take up to a year to complete all the permitting. Reporter Gittel Evangelist will have the updated story in an upcoming edition of the Times-Herald Record and here at Record Online. And if a visit to the Orange County Fair is in your plans during the fair's final weekend, you might want to check out Timothy Malcolm's video report about some of the more unusual foods you will find at the fair. Everything from fried Oreos to fried bubble gum. The video is here at Record Online, and based on Timothy's experience, if you decide to come to the fair, might be a good idea to arrive with an empty stomach. There is sunshine in our weekend forecast for all you fairgoers. There's also the threat of a shower or two as well. Saturday's weather will feature a mix of sun and clouds, maybe a late day shower or thunderstorm Saturday. Temperatures will reach the mid-80s. Sunday will be a partly cloudy day with a greater chance of late day showers or thunderstorms. The highs will once again be at or near 85 degrees. You'll stay connected to what's happening and get the features you enjoy when you pick up the weekend editions of the Times-Herald Record. And when news breaks, you will find it right here at Record Online. For Record Newswatch, I'm Tracy Baxter.